G'day, guys. It's the drunk philosopher, Nathan Fletcher, coming back at ya. A couple of things today. First of all, the environmental minister or some guy who's an environmental person, mental person, came out and said, it's all over, we're doomed unless we do something radical about the environment and our usage of coals and CO1 and CO2 and CO12 and fucking DC-9 aeroplanes. Oh, hang on, that's 1950s. That doesn't matter. We have to change it all. Got to get away with these fossil fuels. Got to do it now. Coal gone. All of it gone. Get rid of it. We all have to go solar right now. We all have to go wind generation right now. And we have to go to cold fusion, even though we don't know how to do that yet. But we have to go to cold fusion. Oh, yes, sirree. And the usual people have crawled out and gone, oh, yes, it's going to be the end of the world. Oh. And I'm one of these people who sits there and goes, yeah, they were saying that when I was a kid in the 80s about what was going to happen in the 90s. By 2020, the Statue of Liberty was going to be all but underwater back in 1986. Boy, Beyond 2000 got that wrong. And if you don't get that reference, you're not an Aussie as old as I am. Look it up and giggle, because it's pretty bad. But anyway, I digress. This issue has been around for a long time. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm not saying we should move on to other forms of energy. Absolutely, I'm all for that. Please let it happen when we got it right. You see, mankind has this wonderful little thing that he does, or she does, or it does, or God knows, attack helicopter does. Social politics is great, isn't it? Right? And what they do is they go, okay, what we do is we go, okay, look at this great new form of technology. Let's just do it. And 200 years later, we find out we're fucking killing the planet. We do that quite often. Throughout history, you'll find, not necessarily planet-wide, but we certainly don't really give a fuck about what's around us because we're humans, don't you know? Yeah. Fuck you, world, we're humans. And, people going, oh, we have to change. Okay, fine, right? I dare you, you prick, to walk into India, a nation which is just starting to get on its feet for economy, right? They're just starting to get there. There's over 1 billion people in that one country, right? They're just getting on their feet. They're looking for energy sources, the cheapest energy sources possible, right? Where do they go? Coal. Do you know where they go, coal? It's cheap. It produces a hell of a lot of energy, and it's pretty easy to set up the infrastructure. Maybe around Kathmandu or somewhere they might have a little nuclear plant or something to sort of to help them out. But it's a huge country. It's actually a big landmass. It takes a lot of energy production to get that country powerfied, electrified. If you smell what the rock is producing electricity in India. Bad joke. Anyway, I'm not editing this out. Fuck it. I've had enough of being serious. Anyway, in India, so they're going to produce all this power. They have to do it with coal. They don't have a damn choice. If you want solid electricity production that's going to last over long, long periods of time, as well as taking the journey, you need coal-powered or nuclear-powered. Well, which one's cheaper? Coal-powered's cheaper. They're like a second world country. They're going to go for the coal. And whilst, it's fucking the environment, it's also allowing them to have a good economy. Manufacturing and other industries. Brilliant. That's great. That's awesome for India. I'm glad for them. It's going to build them up. And then next door, well, not quite next door, but nearly next door. Sorry, Pakistan. It's because I don't like your cricket team. It's not because I don't like you. Bloody Pakistan cricket team. Anyway, that aside, China, single biggest CO2 producer in the entire world. Coal-fired power stations everywhere. They're building more and more and more and more. They signed to the Paris Agreement. I don't know why. They were never going to make it. They're still not going to make it. They're just building power stations everywhere. You know why? Because they're the world's biggest industrial nation. Manufacturing. You like your phone. Your phone's probably from China. You like your shoes, the soles on your feet, on your shoes, that's probably from China. You like your car, it's probably got bits and pieces from China. You like anything, it's probably something to do with China. They build all our shit. They need lots of power to do that. What's the cheapest source of power? Coal power. What's the most reliable? Coal power. What do we got lots of? Coal. And natural gas and stuff. I mean, once again, giant country, nearly 1 billion people. Like between India and China, you've got just under a third of the entire species of Homo sapien in those two countries, right? Oh, yeah, but no, they're second world countries, but, they can afford the big shit, yeah. We can't even afford to go full nuclear. We can't even afford to go full solar. We can't even afford to go full wind. And we're a first-grade nation here in Australia. We may not be in the G20, but we're certainly in the G25. We can't afford it. America can't afford it. England can't afford it. Germany is still running coal. In fact, their coal emissions have gone up. Their CO2 emissions have gone up because of their industry. The great. Cars. I mean, okay, cars, great. Yeah, they do more damage. Well, let's just go Tesla and fill our cars up with electricity. And we get our electricity from the grid and we get it from fossil fuels largely. Oh. Let's store in these giant batteries, lithium-ion batteries, which, by the way, we now know explode if we overcharge them. And let's fill them full of the power from the sun and the wind that we generate, shall we? Well, if you store energy, here's a little problem with storing energy. If it decides to be unstored, you've got a thermonuclear device, essentially. You look at all the damage that those ion batteries do when they go off. What are you going to do? At the moment, we are stuck in position. Now, if we want to do something in Australia, we're going to have to go nuclear. Okay? As a stopgap, even if that stopgap's 100 years before we really get some good new technology coming through, so be it. It might only be 50 years, but it's a good stopgap. It gets rid of the coal, gives us good baseload power, and we got plenty of yellow cake in the Northern Territory. So if you're one of these Australian environmentalists, we need to save the environment, great. We also have another thing that's really in our favour. We're geologically stable. Guess what that means? Very little earthquakes. So get fucked, Fukushima. Not going to happen here in Australia. So that's my take on that, and that's my rant on that. All right? Let's save the environment, but let's look at it holistically, worldwide. Let's see if we can sort something out. And yeah, for the time being, India and China are going to be coal-fired countries. I'm Nathan Fletcher. I'm the drunk philosopher, and I'll scratch you later. Uru.